Joining us on the line is Andrew Bremberg. He is the president and CEO of the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation. And the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation has now launched a new project exposing a cache of hacked security documents from China. Andrew, thanks so much for joining the show. Great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you, Ben.
So tell me about this new project, because it really is quite shocking.
It is. This is an unprecedented hack, the first of its kind, of Chinese Xinjiang Police Station computer systems. Our organization, we were not the hackers. Independent hackers transmitted tens of thousands of documents to our organization and the head of our program, Dr. Adrian Zenz, who is the world expert on what is happening in Xinjiang, Western China right now. And it was absolutely incredible. These are not just the first, but thousands of photos from inside these camps and detention facilities that really prove what is going on in terms of this massive detention of Uyghurs and Muslim minorities in Western China.
So let's talk about some of these specifics as to what exactly is happening at these quote unquote vocational training centers. What exactly is happening there?
Right. So this story first broke several years ago as the rumors came out that these massive detentions were going on. And of course, the Chinese basically lied and said, no, nothing's happening. And then these satellite images came out and showed, well, in the last year, you've created this massive compound. What's that? And that's where, as you just said, they said these are vocational training centers. And then they concocted this whole idea of saying, oh, we're providing, education and training for people. They happen to live there, but they're free to come and go. And we've known that this is not true. But of course, because so many things are impossible to get access to in China, it's hard to disprove. So what this now shows through photos, through their own internal police documents, that these are in fact just detention centers. They are detaining people there for years. There's incredible amounts of detail in these massive spreadsheets that have personally identifiable information on hundreds of thousands of people that have been processed through individual facilities. And let me just say, Xinjiang is this massive region of Western China. The hacks we had came from just police stations in 2 counties within that region. So when I say we've got personal details on hundreds of thousands of people, that's just in those counties. You have to extrapolate that to the region, and you're talking on well over 1 million people that are detained. And the evidence here, again, these are photos showing the people being detained. These are what you'd think of the internal police instructions, their own security protocols, and how they manage the prisoner and transfer inside the facilities. And then also, equally important and kind of shocking, new speeches and transcripts that have never been before released of senior Chinese officials, not just local Xinjiang officials, but people from Beijing, senior party leaders, speaking to them, giving them instruction about how to carry out these mass atrocity human rights abuse, saying that Beijing is aware. Beijing knows you're overcrowded. We'll provide you more resources. They're talking about security must come first. Saying that if there's problems, shoot first, report later. I mean, these are quotes from senior officials telling them how to commit human rights abuses.
So yesterday, the Secretary of State Antony Blinken gave a speech at George Washington University talking about exactly what the U.S. policy should be on China. Has the administration taken advantage of this information to put the screws to China? I know that we have a UN human rights visit to China this week by Michelle Bachelet, who's a representative of the Biden administration. Have they done anything with this information?
So not yet. And I think this is a critically important time, and we'll find out whether or not our own government and other European and other Western governments, do you really care about human rights, and are you going to back it up, or is it just talk? So you mentioned the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights is visiting China as we speak. This was a colossal mistake on her part to agree to go with such terrible conditions. The fact that she agreed with the Chinese government that this is not even an investigation. That's the point of the visit. But to say it's not an investigation and to allow it to be in what they call a closed loop, very tightly controlled pack, of course, the excuse of COVID. But, if that's what they're being told, she bore the moral responsibility to say, no, I can't come under these conditions, and say transparently to the public, we've asked for appropriate access. And unfortunately, they have said no. I hope to go in the future. I mean, that's the way, if you have independence and care about this, that's how you act transparently, neutrally to do that. That's not happened. And what I fear, her trip is happening right now. It'll end in the next several days. I fear that we will see the government use it as a propaganda opportunity to say, isn't it wonderful? We had the UN High Commissioner of Human Rights. She came and saw Xinjiang. Everything was wonderful. And now she's going to have to be much more forthright and public about saying, no, I didn't get to see any of these things, because she's put herself in this position. And coming back to our administration, we passed the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act last year that says it bans the importation of any goods produced in Xinjiang because we know it's connected to forced labor. That law goes into effect next month. How does it get implemented? Is this rigidly implemented? Is this a hardcore ban, or are lots of exemptions made? Similarly, as you know, this administration chose to rejoin the Human Rights Council in the UN. They meet next month. Right? The next session happens. What are they going to do? Are we going to lead a resolution in the council with other countries that all purport to believe in human rights and demand accountability of China in this session? Or are we going to, have a joint statement and write some little letter that says, oh, we had grave concerns? This is an opportunity to act, and our government and other European governments need to take that opportunity. I would just also add sanctions. We've got the names of high-level Communist Party leaders that are directing these activities. Those people must be sanctioned. And I would just also say this week, and with the release of this explosive new evidence, it has been positive and heartening to see a lot of European leaders make much stronger statements in response to this evidence. So I think the real question is, can the US use this as an opportunity to lead and garner the support of other countries to really put the real pressure on China and demand accountability?
On to Ambassador Andrew Bremberg. He is the president and CEO of the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation. Thanks for the hard work that you are doing, and thanks for holding China's feet to the fire. Hopefully the administration will follow suit. There actually is bipartisan support, it seems, for taking a harsher stance on China. So I hope that this information obviously sees the top levels of the administration. They take some action with regard to it.
Absolutely.